Far away in deep space, there was an old space station floating in the dark. No one lived there anymore. It was cold, broken, and forgotten. But hidden deep inside that station was a girl. She was not dead. She was alive, but she didn't move. She was locked inside a tall glass cage, glowing with soft blue light. Her eyes were closed. Her hair floated slowly in the zero gravity. She looked like she was dreaming, or waiting. No one came to see her. No one even remembered she was there. Years passed. The station lost power. The walls cracked, and dust covered everything. Still, the girl remained, untouched, silent, and alone. Until one day, a ship arrived. His name was Kale. He was a scavenger, someone who searched old space ruins for anything useful. He wasn't a hero. He just needed money to survive. Kale's ship docked on the station. His boots echoed. As he walked through the dark metal halls, he used a flashlight to see. Everything looked dead. Just another junk pile, he said to himself. But then, he heard something strange. A whisper, soft, like a voice inside his mind. "Help me." Kale stopped. He looked around. "Who's there?" No one answered. Just silence. He shook his head. "Must be tired," he muttered. But the voice came again, this time a little louder. "Kale," he froze. "How do you know my name?" he shouted. Still no reply. His heart pounded. He followed the sound, deeper into the station. The air got colder. The walls were covered in frost. Then he saw a door marked restricted. "Do not enter date." Kale didn't care. He opened it. Inside the room was dark, except for one thing. A tall glowing glass cage in the center. And inside it was her, a girl. She looked maybe 17 or 18. Her skin was pale. Her hair silver, floating like silk. She wore a strange white suit. Her body was still, but not dead. Her chest moved. She was breathing. "What is this?" Kale whispered. The cage was covered in old warning signs. "Biohazard. Do not open. Subject, LOX. High risk." Kale stepped closer. The girl's eyes suddenly opened. Bright, silver, glowing. Kale jumped back. Her lips didn't move, but he heard her again inside his mind. "Don't be afraid." Who are you?" Kale asked out loud. "I don't remember," she said, softly. "But I remember you." Kale's blood ran cold. "That's not possible. I've never been here." She looked at him, calm and peaceful. "You came in a dream, a long time ago. You promised to help me." "This is crazy," Kale muttered. "You've been locked here for years." "I know," she said. "They forgot me." "Why are you in there?" Kale asked. "They were afraid of me," she replied. "But I never hurt anyone." Kale felt a strange sadness. She didn't look dangerous. She looked lonely. He walked closer to the cage. There was a control panel, broken and old. He touched the glass. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. A red warning light turned on. Containment breach detected. A loud siren began to ring. Kale backed away. "What did I do?" "It's okay," the girl said. "The cage is weak now. You woke it up. I didn't mean to, but you did. You heard me. No one else ever did." The glass began to crack. A thin line ran down the center. Kale stared, in fear and wonder. "Should I run?" he asked. "You can," she said. "Or, you can help me." Kale looked at her. For some reason, he couldn't leave. Something inside him said she wasn't a threat. She was someone left behind. Someone forgotten. The sirens grew louder. The glass cracked again, this time deeper. Then the girl whispered one last word. "Please." The cage suddenly flashed with light, then shattered into pieces. The noise stopped. The sirens went silent. The girl slowly floated out of the broken cage, her eyes glowing, her face calm. Kale couldn't move. He was speechless. She looked at him and whispered, for the first time with real lips, not just her mind. "Thank you, Kale." Start with a flash of sound. A breath. A heartbeat. Kale stood, frozen. The glass cage lay shattered around him. The girl floated gently to the cold floor, her eyes glowing like stars. She wasn't breathing heavily. She wasn't confused. She looked calm, like she knew this moment was coming. But Kale's hands were shaking. "What are you?" he whispered. The girl opened her mouth this time, not in his mind, but with real voice. "I don't know anymore," she said softly. "But I'm not a monster." Kale stared at her. She didn't look like a threat. She looked like someone who had been alone for a long, long time. "I heard you," Kale said. "In my head." She nodded. "You're the first." 10 minutes earlier, he was ready to loot the place and leave. Now, He was standing next to a glowing girl who knew his name and who had just escaped from a forbidden cage. "How long were you in there?" he asked. She looked at the broken cage. "I don't remember days. I just remember the cold and silence." "Why did they lock you up?" "They said I was too different. Too, risky." Kale noticed the symbols on her arm, strange glowing letters. "Not human. Are you human?" She looked down. "Part of me. The rest, I think they created." Kale's mind raced. He had heard stories about failed military science, alien DNA experiments, illegal labs, but he thought those were just myths. Dark tales told in low voices. And now, one of them was standing in front of him. Suddenly, the station shook. A deep, mechanical sound rumbled from the walls. Lights flickered. "What's happening?" Kale asked, grabbing his scanner. "They know I'm awake," she said. "This place still watches, even after all these years. Come on, we need to leave." Kale grabbed her hand. It was warm, human, real. They ran through the station's empty halls. Machines groaned. Old systems tried to reboot. A broken defense drone sparked to life and began to track them. Kale pulled out his EMP grenade and tossed it. A sharp flash. The drone dropped. "You've done this before," she said. "Too many times," Kale replied. They reached Kale's small ship. It wasn't much, just an old shuttle, with scars from 100 repairs. But it could fly. As they entered the ship, the girl looked around, wide-eyed. "This is the first time I've seen a sky," she said. Pointing to the stars outside the window, Kale sat in the pilot's seat. "What should I call you?" "I don't know," she whispered. "They never gave me a name. Just a code, LOX. "That's not a name," Kale said. He looked at her. "Really?" "Looked, you saved my life," she said. "That makes you the first one who saw me as more than a thing." He nodded. "Then from now on, you're Lyra." She smiled just a little. Kale set the ship to launch. Engines hummed, but just before they left, he looked back at the station on the screen. That place held secrets he didn't understand yet. Someone had locked Lyra up, erased her, and abandoned her. And someone out there might still want her back. As the ship flew into hyperspace, Lyra leaned closer to the window, eyes wide at the stars blurring past. Kale watched her silently. She looked peaceful now, but he knew peace wouldn't last. He had questions. She had mysteries. And somewhere out there, others were watching. Final lines hook for part 3. Suddenly, the ship's console beeped. An encrypted signal was following them. Unknown origin. Unknown message. Lyra looked at the screen and whispered in fear. "They found us." It didn't feel like a rescue anymore. It felt like a mistake. Kale's ship shook violently as red lights flashed across the control screen. "Incoming. Lock-on detected." "Unknown signal." Pursuing. In the co-pilot seat, Lyra stared at the message. Her glowing eyes dimmed. "They're here," she whispered. "They followed the cage signal." Kale gritted his teeth. "I thought this station was abandoned." "It was," she said. "But I was never truly alone. They left watchers. Machines. Triggers." "Great," Kale muttered. "So the moment I touched the glass, they knew." Lyra didn't speak. She just looked at him. "You shouldn't have helped me." Seconds later, the ship's engines roared as Kale made a hard turn. Outside, the giant space station, the ghost ship, was shrinking behind them. But from the shadows, something followed. A black, unmarked drone ship. Fast, deadly, silent. It didn't send messages. It didn't warn. It just locked on. Lyra touched the screen. "This is part of the old defense net. A hunter drone. It's not here to capture me. It's here to kill both of us." Kale's eyes widened. "That's your welcome back party." She nodded. "They're afraid of what I might remember." Back inside the dying station, an old AI came online. A voice echoed in the empty lab. "Containment failure. Protocol Sigma active. Erase all evidence." Gas began to fill the hallways. The old lab where Lyra was once created started to melt itself from the inside. Whoever made her didn't want the truth to survive. Back in the ship, Kale pulled hard on the controls. "Hang on," the drone fired. A blue plasma bolt cut through space and missed by inches. "Shields won't hold long," Kale shouted. Lyra stood calmly. "I can stop it." Kale turned. "You what?" "I was made to connect with their systems," she said, eyes glowing again. "If I get close enough, I can overload it." "No way. You're not leaving this ship." She stepped closer to the airlock. "Then we both die." Flashback. Lyra remembered the first time she woke up in the cage. No one spoke to her. Only voices through glass. Only tests. Only silence. They called her a project. A tool. But now, she had a name, Lyra. And someone had given it to her. She turned to Kale. You didn't see a weapon. You saw a person. Let me protect the one person who saw me. Kale clenched his fists. You're not a shield. You're not a soldier. No, she said softly. But I am strong. Lyra walked into the small cargo pod attached to the side of the ship. Kale tried to stop her, but the door sealed. She flew the pod toward the enemy drone. Inside, she closed her eyes. The symbols on her skin lit up bright gold lines, glowing like fire under her skin. Her mind reached out. A signal. A pulse. The drone shuddered. Its systems glitched. It paused for a second. That was all Kale needed. He fired the ship's main cannon. Boom. The drone exploded into sparks. But the blast hit Lyra's pod too. It spun out of control. Lyra! Kale shouted. He chased the pod through the asteroid field. His ship dodged rocks and burning drone pieces. Finally the pod crashed onto a frozen moon surface below. Kyle landed fast. Ran through the ice, his breath short. His heart racing. He found the pod half buried in snow. Inside, Lyra was alive. Her suit was torn, her body weak. But she was smiling. You came back, she whispered. Of course I did, he said. I just got you out. I'm not losing you now. They returned to the ship. Kale set course for a hidden rebel zone, his last safe contact. Lyra lay in the medbed. Her energy was fading. But her memories were getting stronger. She looked at Kale. They called it Project Glassborn, she said. I was the only one who lived. Then let's find out why. Kale said. Final lines. Hook for part 4. Lyra looked at her arm. A code was slowly appearing under her skin. A military ID. And next to it, a word. Property of Earth Collective terminate on site. She whispered. They didn't just forget me. They erased me. Asterisk, the girl had no birth record, no name, no parents. Lyra didn't exist on any human database. Not on any star map. Not even in the military's black archives. She was invisible. Like a ghost. But Kale had seen her. Touched her. Saved her. Now, he wanted answers. The ship floated through dark space. Inside, Kale was scanning the strange code, glowing under Lyra's skin. It had changed again. Not just a number, it now said, Property of Earth Collective. Lyra.exp-0.1 terminate on site. Kale stared at it. What the hell is this? Lyra sat quietly on the medbed, watching the stars outside. I think I was never meant to survive, she said. I was just a test, an experiment to control. Something ancient. Kale tapped into old military records, using hidden backdoor codes. He was once a soldier before he became a scavenger. Some doors still open for him. One file popped up, corrupted, redacted. But one line stayed intact. Project Glassborn, Stage 1, Successful Subject. Alpha shows cognitive awareness. Phase 2, terminate all remaining units. Subject, Alpha.Lyra. She looked at Kale. There were others. Flashback. Lyra remembered glass tubes. Dozens, maybe more. Children, teenagers, all asleep, all glowing. She remembered screaming hers, not theirs. And then silence. They erased those memories. Buried them deep. But now they were rising. Kale stood up. We need someone who knows about this project. Someone still alive. He set course to an outlaw data station called Black Pointer Shadowport, where secrets were traded for credits or blood. As they landed, eyes watched from the shadows. This place was filled with bounty hunters, cyber thieves, and ex-soldiers who knew too much. Lyra wore a hood, hiding her face and glowing skin. They walked through the dark halls to a locked chamber. Kale punched in a code. A grizzled man looked up from a screen. Half his face was metal. Kale, the man said. Didn't think I'd see you again. We need intel, Kale said. On Project Glassborn. The man froze. You shouldn't even say that name out loud, he whispered. The man, called Rek, once worked for Earth Collective Intel. He thought the project was just a rumor until he saw Lyra. He stared at her. She looks human. But she's not, is she? She's alive, Kale said. She thinks, feels, remembers. Rek pulled out a black chip, plugged it in. A faded hull image appeared. Scientists in white, a lab full of glass tanks. And in the center a child glowing like a star. That's her, Rek said. She wasn't made to be a soldier. She was made to be a key. Kale frowned. Key to what? To something buried deep in space. Alien tech. Something we couldn't control. She's connected to it. Lyra stepped forward. And if they find me, they won't just kill you, Rex said. They'll use you to open the door. And then, they'll destroy everything. Suddenly, alarms screamed through Black Point. Multiple ships inbound. Someone yelled, "No flags. No IDs." Kale's heart sank. They found us again. Rex tossed Kale a chip. Take it. It has coordinates. A deep space site connected to the project. That's where you'll find the truth. What about you? Kale asked. I'll hold them off. Now go. Kale and Lyra ran. Gunfire echoed through the station. Doors slammed. People screamed. They reached the ship. Kale hit launch. As they lifted off, Lyra looked back through the window. Rex stood in the shadows. Holding a gun then was lost in the fire as the station exploded behind them. Inside the ship, silence fell. Again Lyra clutched the data chip. Kale watched her, worried. You okay? She looked at him. I feel like pieces of me are waking up. And I don't know if I'll like the person I used to be. You're not a weapon, Kale said. You're not what they made you. Lyra looked at her hands. Then what am I? Kale replied softly. You're someone worth saving. Again and again. The chip glowed. A map unfolded deep space. Coordinates. Far beyond any known colony. But next to it was a file. Encrypted. With one chilling title. Project Glassborn. Site 0. The door that should never open. Lyra whispered. They built me to open something. And now it's calling me. He used to hunt for credits. Now, he was running to save a girl who didn't even exist on paper. Kale wasn't a hero. He didn't believe in causes, or justice, or saving the world. He believed in surviving, getting paid, getting out. But something had changed. He had touched the glass. He had heard her voice. And now, he couldn't leave her behind. The ship flew through the dark stretch of unmarked space toward the coordinates on the chip, a place not listed on any map. A dead zone. Between systems.site 0. Lyra stood at the window, staring into the darkness. Her eyes reflected the stars. She hadn't said much since they left Black Point. But her silence wasn't empty. It was heavy. Like something was pulling her inward. Kale walked over, holding a cup of water. You should drink. I don't feel thirsty, she replied. You still need it. She took the cup with a small nod. He studied her face. Calm, but distant. What's going on in your head? I'm remembering things, she said. Not all at once, but little flashes. Voices, places, pain. Anything about the door? Kale asked. Lyra's hands tightened on the cup. Yes, she whispered. They said I was the only one who could open it. Because part of me was made from something that came through it. Kale's heart dropped. So you're connected to what's on the other side? Yes, but I don't know if it's alive. Or waiting. They arrived at Site 0. It wasn't a base dot, it was a crater. A massive scar on a dead gray moon. In the center stood a tall, black structure, smooth, featureless, cold. No doors, no windows, just one pulse. A slow red glow, deep in its core. Kale and Lyra landed on the moon's surface. He loaded his plasma pistol. Lyra stepped forward, eyes locked on the strange black tower. I've been here before, she said. In your memories? No, she replied. Before the cage. I was born here. They walked into the crater. As they came closer, the tower began to change. Lines appeared on its surface, glowing softly. Symbols in no human language. The ground vibrated under their feet. Kale pulled her back. We don't know what it is. But Lyra stepped forward. It knows me. Suddenly, a flash of light. Kale raised his weapon. Two late dot figures appeared around them. For soldiers in black armor, faces hidden. No flags, no names. Just weapons. Step away from the subject. One ordered. Kale stood in front of Lyra. She's not going with you. She is property of Earth Collective, the voice said. Step aside or die. Lyra touched Kale's shoulder. It's okay. I'll go. They won't shoot you if I surrender. Kale turned to her, shocked. No, that's exactly what they want. They take you, use you, to open that thing, then erase you. You don't have to fight for me, she said softly. Kale's voice broke. I'm not fighting for you. I'm fighting with you. Without warning, Kale opened fire. The blast hit one soldier straight in the chest. The others fired back. Kale grabbed Lyra and ran behind a rock wall. One soldier advanced but suddenly froze mid-step. Lyra raised her hand. Her eyes turned gold. The soldier dropped his weapon, then his knees, then collapsed. Kale stared. You did that. Lyra looked down at her hands, terrified. I didn't mean to. You saved my life, Kale said. No, I might have just killed someone. He looked her in the eyes. Lyra, you're not what they made you. You get to choose. They fought. Together, Kale used strategy and cover. Lyra used instinct, her mind reaching out to machines, disabling weapons, slowing time for a second at a time. When the last soldier dropped, silence returned. They stood in the crater. Bruised but alive, Kale looked at the black tower. It was now glowing, brighter, responding to Lyra's presence. Is it open? He asked. No, she said. But now it's listening. He stepped beside her. Then we don't run anymore. She turned to him. You really think I can choose what I become? You already did, he said. Back when you broke your own cage to save me. A voice echoed from deep within the black tower. Not human, not machine. It said one word, in a voice that made the moon itself tremble. Welcome home, Lyra. She stepped back in fear. Kale raised his weapon, and the tower began to open. Asterisk. The door didn't open like a door. It peeled back, like layers of living metal. Smooth, silent, unnatural. Lyra stared at it, her face frozen. Not with fear, but with recognition. It's not just a gate, she whispered. It's a memory. Kale raised his weapon. What do you mean? I'd been in here before, she said. Before the cage. Before I even knew what fear was. Inside, the tower was empty. No lights, no walls, just black, like walking into space itself. But the moment they stepped through, the door closed. Behind them, no sound, no warning. Suddenly dash light, a soft pulse in the air. Thousands of floating shapes like data, memories, thoughts drifted all around them, glowing faintly, and in the center stood something strange. Another glass cage. But this one wasn't broken. And inside was Lyra. Kale stopped breathing. That's not possible, he whispered. Lyra stepped forward. The girl inside the cage looked exactly like her, same face, same suit, same silver hair. But her eyes were closed. She didn't move. Kale looked at the real Lyra beside him. What is this? I don't know, she said, but her voice was shaking. I thought I was the original. Maybe I'm just ... a copy. The room lit up again. A cold female voice echoed from everywhere. Welcome to Site 0. Containment restored. Memory loop complete. Subject LOX. Please return to your chamber. Kale shouted. Who's speaking? I am the caretaker. You are in the core archive. Subject LOX is part of a repeating loop to prevent external breach. She must be preserved. Lyra's hands trembled. Loop? What loop? You have escaped 15 times. Each time, your memory is erased. Each time, you return. This is the cage. Kale's heart dropped. They hadn't saved her from the cage. They had been inside it the whole time. Lyra staggered back, gripping her head. Memories flashed painful, blinding. Glass, wires, voices. Every time she escaped, it was allowed. Every time she felt free, it was just a test. Kale reached for her. Lyra, stay with me. But she looked at him. Broken. I'm not real. I'm just a repeating program. A machine in a skin. He grabbed her shoulders. No, you're more than that. I've seen you laugh, bleed, save me. You're real to me. The floating images around them changed, now showing hundreds of other versions of Lyra, some angry, some silent, some destroyed. And in each version, Kale was there too. Lyra stared in horror. You were always part of the loop. Kale stepped back. What? The caretaker voice returned. Subject LOX's emotional evolution is tied to one consistent pattern. Emotional bonding with subject K29. You, Kale whispered. I'm not a rescuer. I'm part of the trap. Lyra turned away. Then none of this was real. Double quotes, silence. Kale stepped forward. But it feels real to me. He pointed to his chest. I wasn't made in a lab. I bleed. I get scared. I made choices. And I chose you. Lyra looked at him. Her eyes filled with tears. Not light. Not energy. Real human tears. I don't want to go back in the cage, she whispered. Kale raised his weapon at the glass, where the second Lyra slept. Tell me how to break the loop, he shouted. Destruction of loop core will erase subject LOX permanently. All versions, all data, all memory. He looked at Lyra. One shot, and it all ends. No more loops. But maybe no more you. Lyra stepped forward. I'd rather die free than live again as a lie. Kale nodded. One breath, one moment. He fired. Crack. The glass shattered. The light went out. The other Lyra dissolved, like dust, and the tower began to fall apart. They ran. The door reopened. The crater trembled as Kale and Lyra reached the ship. Fire rained from the black tower. It collapsed behind them, consumed by its own lies. Inside the ship, flying away, Lyra sat silently, her face pale. "Do you think I'm still me?" she asked. Kale didn't answer right away. Then he said, "You made the choice. No one programmed it." Thus W behind them. Site 0 was gone, but ahead on the console a new signal blinked. A message Lyra didn't expect. To subject LOX, final version confirmed. Others await. She turned to Kale. "There are more, like me." And, now, they were waiting. They thought she was the last. But the message proved them wrong. To subject LOX, final version confirmed. Others await. Lyra stared at the screen. Her hands shook. Not from fear, but from something far more dangerous. Hope. The coordinates led them to a hidden moon, orbiting a red dwarf star. It had no name, no cities, no light. Just one thing underground. A vault. Kale piloted the ship through a dust storm, eyes locked on the scanner. "Power readings just spiked," he said. "Whatever's down there, it's alive." Lyra closed her eyes. "I can feel them." Inside the vault, it was cold, silent. Rows of capsules lined the walls, each one with a face inside. Some male, some female, some human, some not quite. Lyra moved between the chambers. They were like me, maybe even me. Again, Kale scanned one pod. No life signs, but brain patterns still running. Frozen in a loop. The same cage, different walls. A deep voice echoed in the chamber, not from a speaker, not from a machine, from the very walls. "Welcome, final version. The system was never built to set you free. It was built to repeat you." Lyra stepped into the center of the vault. Above her, a massive data core pulsed like a heart. This was it, the root system. The program that controlled everything. The one that made the cage. And at the center of the core, her face. Kale raised his weapon. "We can destroy it." Lyra held up her hand. "No, not yet." She reached out mentally. The same way she had broken the drone. The same way she had stopped the soldiers. But this time, she wasn't fighting back. She was speaking. "I am not your subject," she said. "I am not your loop. I am not your experiment. I choose to be more." The system pulsed. "If you break this core, all versions will end. They will never wake up." Kale stepped beside her. "You don't owe them another life. You've already earned your own." Lyra looked at the faces in the capsules. Hundreds, thousands, versions of her that never got the chance to choose. She clenched her fists. "I'm not here to save the system," she said. "I'm here to finish it." She reached forward and touched the core. It burned like fire, but she didn't pull away. Light exploded from her skin. Symbols ran up her arms, glowing gold. Her eyes turned white. The system began to crash. One by one, the cages opened. The loop dissolved, and the voices inside, silent for years, finally breathed. Kale grabbed her as the room began to collapse. They ran. The vault fell apart behind them. The sky turned red as energy poured into space, like a dying sun releasing its final breath. Back on the ship, Kale flew as fast as the engines allowed. Lyra lay on the floor, weak and glowing. "You with me?" he asked, kneeling beside her. She smiled barely. "I think I just rewrote the story they forced me to live." Outside the window, a stream of light appeared, ships rising from the moon. Some small, some huge, all crewed by others like her. They had woken up. Not copies, not experiments. People. Lyra sat up slowly, eyes full of light and tears. "I was made in the lab," she whispered. "But today, I was reborn by choice." Kale looked at her. "You're free now," she nodded. "So are they." The ship flew into open space. No more cages. No more orders. Just stars. Kale asked. "Where do we go now?" Lyra answered. "Anywhere we want." And for the first time, she meant it.